Here's our second diver, Matthew Mullen, the senior. Kristen, I'll let you recap some of the fundamental points that we talked about during the women's dives off the platform.
Now, the men, it's a little bit different, mostly because a lot of these men are just, they're fearless to the point of recklessness sometimes. You'll see that a lot in divers. It's exciting. So you'll probably see more of them going off of the 7.5 meter, maybe even the 10 meter. But again, they're not nearly as experienced as you'd probably like them to be in terms of platform diving, just because not everybody has the facilities.
That was Isaac Karn of Cincinnati with his first dive, the sophomore. And you see his scores include a 6.5, 2 6s, and 2 5.5s.
He had a really good start to that dive. It's important to get a good takeoff. You want to see a good amount of height, a good jump off of the platform. Make sure your head is in alignment. Where you start and where you finish is really important, what the judges are going to be looking for, as well as how well you go into the water. And we just missed that one, but we'll have to show you Tori Wagner on replay.
Wagner, the freshman for UConn. Here's Godar with his first dive off the platform, the senior.
Now these men do get to decide whether or not they want to go off the 5 meter, the 7.5, or the 10, and that's just like I said before, because not everybody has the facilities. It's extremely hard to train for this event and then be expected to come in and compete, so they're a little bit lenient there. Decent dive, good twisting, had a little bit of trouble coming out of his twist. You saw him go over slightly. He just squares up with that right arm as well. His left arm was good. If he squares up with both of them, he'll increase that by 1.5 points at least.
Daniel Kinney, 6th in this rotation. Right now, Isaac Karn of Cincinnati is your leader, sophomore for Cincinnati.
Great start. You see, he finishes a 1.5 before even going beneath the platform. That's ideal. You want to be at least a 1.5. Almost as if you're going to land right back on that platform, just slightly pushed out. That's when you know you have a good start, a good top of a dive.
Freshman Devin Nugent will be the second to last diver each round. Again, 6 rounds here for the men.
He ripped that entry. You could hear it. The sound of the water just sucks you right in. The scores, they show that.
Louis Hunt, a junior these days. He was your champion 2 years ago as a freshman off the platform.
Louis Hunt comes in with the hardest degree of difficulty on his list. He'll come up a little bit short on that dive.
So all 8 divers complete their first effort, and it's Devin Nugent in the lead through 1. Let's get back to Kyle Kennedy now, your sophomore for UConn.
Nice entry there, slightly past vertical on the entry, but he came out clean. Looked very nice come out of that dive.
And at the moment, he takes the lead. Matthew Mullen, one of 2 Pirates.
Very good rotation. Clean entry, he's happy about it, all smiles.
He heard that cheering section nearby.
You hear it when you enter the water that way. When it rips, it's just a certain sound that hits, the way it sucks you under the water. And your hands have to be in the perfect placement. Your arms gripping your ears, your shoulders against your ears. And when you push into the water like that, it gives the best sound to a diver.
See if Isaac Karn can wrestle away an early lead.
Great start to the dive. Again, just came out late, so he fell over on that entry.
Keeps Matthew Mullen as our leader for the moment. Wagner again, one of 2 freshmen.
And that one will go over. Still deduct for that entry. And a nice start.
Over on 5 meters, Mitchell Godar.
A good dive by Godar. Sorry, go ahead. He can clean up the entry. Not quite vertical there, but really good on his rotation.
Matthew Mullen has just been a tad better than everybody else so far through this second round. Hanging on to the advantage. Here's Daniel Kenny.
That was really gorgeous start. His rotation is so good, and the fact that he went slightly over on that, he can add another flip. You see how early he comes out. He can take that up to 10 meter. He just needs a little more experience on
it. Moves the Husky Kenny into the lead. Here's Devin Nugent, the freshman Pirate.
Pretty dive from Devin. Simple, low degree of difficulty, but sometimes on these platforms, the easiest dives are the hardest because you're having to control your body and have that really solid body awareness from a higher distance.
And Louis Hunt now 2 years removed from his title in the platform as a freshman, now a junior for Cincinnati.
That was a nice dive.
But through 2 rounds, it'll be Daniel Kenny with the lead. Louis Hunt just off the mark in terms of the overall score.
Another simple dive that you'll see here. Let's see how well Kyle Kennedy can execute. You hear him cheer.
Again, in the midst of round 3, second man in the rotation is Matthew Mullen for ECU.
All the Pirates made their way down there to the diving well.
Mullen is back in front with that last effort. Here's Isaac Karn.
Our first arm stand of the night. You'll see the men sometimes go in their handstand slightly different than the women, and he'll get deducted for that because, as you saw, he didn't show control at the top.
What's the easiest way to counter that, splitting the legs?
For me, yes, personally, but it's different for everybody. That's because I was a gymnast, so it's like kicking up into a handstand. A lot of women will split their legs and slowly bring them together. That was quite nice. Yeah, that dive for some people is very easy or either very difficult.
That was about as dramatic of a dive as we have seen from Tori Wagner.
It's once you do it, you realize how comfortable it is, how easy it is, how you just get comfortable with that position. But a lot of people, for myself in particular, I need to be flipping off 10 meter. I need to be doing something. If I have that free fall, I get a little nervous.
Third dive for Godar. Matthew Mullen still leads.
Very nice. Good kick out.
And Godar's back in front. Daniel Kenny for UConn, 6th in the rotation. Does not need much to take over the lead here.
That was a really good dive. That's probably the hardest degree of difficulty dive that we've seen so far, and he executes it very well.
As a result, the lead is his, with 2 more divers to go here in round 3. That has raised the bar for the last 2 men, including Devin Nugent from ECU.
Simple dive, but he executes very cleanly.
about a pair of 7s for the freshman? Now Louis Hunt. Everybody trailing Daniel Kinney.
Kicked out just a little too early.
So we are halfway through the 6 dives as Louis Hunt wraps up round 3. And your leader again is Daniel Kinney, the senior from UConn. We're back to Kyle Kennedy now, the sophomore Husky. Again, we have mentioned the Pirates bench is right there next to the diving boards. So it's hard for him to keep a straight face before taking the plunge.
I don't think it matters what he does, Lincoln.
Problem is they're not giving scorecards.
He loves it. He loves it. It's great. I mean, you talk about a team who only trains on platform, you know, 1 week out of the entire year, and a sprinkle here and there. They go to a place with the right facilities.
See if Isaac Karn can reclaim the top spot.
It's good to see them have fun with it.
We'll note the Cincinnati bench is also by the boards, but they're all focused on their relay right now, huddled up every time we get a look over there, despite having some Bearcats in the hunt.
Isaac Karn pushed himself just a bit too far away from that platform on that dive.
A lonely position up there for Tori Wagner.
That was very nice.
Let's see if he finds himself in the lead.
Great takeoff, keeps his chest up, throws hard at the top. You see that with a fast rotation, and he comes out of it clean.
The freshman right now is in the top spot. We're just halfway through round number 4, however. Gives way to Mitchell Godar.
You don't often see someone start a back somersault with their arms up that way. But it is listed as a back 2.5 tuck.
Is it enough?
He'll come up short.
As Wagner still with the advantage.
Great top, but comes out way too early.
Final 3 divers here in round 4. Daniel Kinney, the senior from UConn, before you hear another ovation for another Pirate.
He has such great rotation. You see how quick he spins. It's just his timing that's slightly off.
Easily overtakes the lead.
I bet it's a Pirate who's up next. What do you think?
Yeah, Devin Nugent, the freshman, gets the same treatment as the senior Pirate, Matthew Mullen. Nugent just trying to close the gap right now, entering the 5th round.
Same thing, great top, good throw. Just slightly off when he comes out.
Three 6s, a pair of 5.5s, and a lot of unofficial perfect scores. And here is Louis Hunt to close out round number 4. And
he scored a 229.20 in prelims. So he's on target.
Not sure if there's discussion right now on the previous dive.
Looks like it might be a technical problem as Louis Hunt's
There we go.
just loaded.
He knew who he was.
But you do have to wait, Lincoln. You have to wait till they call your name and they show that up there. Otherwise, it is a no-go, a 0.
The divers are just introduced by their first name.
Now they're telling him to wait.
Seems to be handling it well.
Better than I would be, that's for sure. I think when I was told to wait at some point, I just did my dive and I got a 0. They do not like that, the judges.
Louis just trying to chip into the deficit right now.
Clean dive. But he's still pretty far out of that leader spot.
All 8 divers now completing their first 4 dives. Takes us to round 5. Back to Kyle Kennedy. And again, Kyle just trying to make it more manageable heading into the 6th round.
And not quite the control that you want to see in an arm stand. Or the entry, or our camera position. Everything was slightly off about that.
See if Matthew Mullen can step back into the leader spot.
Ooh.
He'll come up short. And Isaac Karn, the sophomore for Cincinnati. Still within striking distance.
Great start to the dive. Really good height, but comes out way too late. And you'll see that big splash as a result. Just holds on to his tuck too long.
Troy Wagner again, 4th in the rotation of 8 divers. One of our 2 freshmen, he from UConn. Should find himself, and does, atop the leaderboard midway through round 5.
He started off in his twist pretty early. That's why he went over slightly there in the end, but overall a pretty dive. Let's see if Mitch Godar can hold some control in this arm stand. Not the best angle at it.
And again, Troy Wagner will retain the top spot for now. Daniel Kinney on the 5 meter, the senior Husky, with his second to last dive.
Most of these men are struggling in the arm stand category. No one's showing that pause at the top that you're supposed to hold on to.
Another look. All right, up on the 10, Devin Nugent.
Well, I assume he will have to show some. If it's a forward 2 somersaults, and it's a little better.
Slightly partial response. Let's see the numbers.
He was a little short on that entry, but he did show a good hold and good control at the top. And you have to on that, because you watch his arms bend right there. You have to push off with your arms to get that kind of rotation.
They range from a 4.5 to a 6.5 as we stay up at the 10. to close out round 5 with Louis Hunt. Daniel Kinney's lead should be safe after the first 5 rounds.
And this is what you want to see from an arm stand. That's the best arm stand we've seen tonight.
Who will lead going into the final round? It will in fact be Daniel Kinney.
And here you get a much better angle at it.
That is the best demonstration of upper body strength we have seen from a diver here on the platform. Final dive for our 8 divers with a championship on the line. Kyle Kennedy, the sophomore for UConn. Still 2 Huskies remaining. Last dive for Matthew Mullen, ECU Pirate, and he is still very much in the hunt.
The senior, oh, you see him smile down at his teammates. Great dive to finish on, that ripped. You hear the sound, very little splash, very nice dive to end on for the senior. Oh, and a bow.
He comes up just short of the leading position.
He saved his best for last.
He won a lot of people over. How about Isaac Karn? Sophomore for the Bearcats. As his evening complete.
It's another arm stand.
Final dive for Tori Wagner.
Ooh, that made me a little nervous, Lincoln. Not the control you want to see in the arm stand. Pushed him far away from the platform, and he went over.
He could have rolled off the platform and taken the lead for now. And he is, in fact, ahead with 4 divers to go.
.3 degree of difficulty. This will be Mitchell's most difficult of the night.
Could win him the championship.
If he nails it, he'll take over the lead. And he goes over.
And Wagner is hanging on to the advantage with 3 divers to go. All the way back to the top to the 10-meter. Can one Husky wrestle it away from another? He too with a low bar to cross to move into the driver's seat.
See him going over his head. Beautiful
That's
dive.
an exclamation point from Daniel Kinney.
Yep, he knows it. That was wonderful. Beautiful full out, great scores. That should secure him the championship right there. Great throw. Then he goes into his full out twist, comes out of it nicely. Not quite vertical, but a solid entry.
He just really raised that bar for our final 2 divers. Devin Nugent, the freshman, with his last dive. From 10.
Devin does a full in. You'll see his twist goes first rather than the flip. And a nice entry for him, but not going to be enough.
What a way to go out for the freshman. So Louis Hunt, again, a champion as a freshman 2 years ago from the platform. Just looking to finish on a strong note, as this championship will belong to Daniel Kinney.
Beautiful dive to finish on for Louis Hunt. He ripped that, and he knows it.
Oh, a strong finish to the platform diving for the men. Daniel Kinney highlights the rotation. The Yukon Husky goes out as a champion in his senior campaign with his last dive.
And a great score for him. His best, 264.90.
That was your final individual event of any kind this week here in Dallas, as Daniel Kinney will capture some points here late for Yukon. And it leads us to our final women's event, final men's event. It'll be the 400-yard freestyle relay to close out the night to determine which programs are the fastest in the American.